Hello guys and welcome. I hope that you're having a good day or a good morning or good evening. My name is I play 4K, aka I play 8K, aka I play 16K or UHDking. During this video today, I'm going to show you Hot Pursuit running in 16K resolution or 133 megapixels in real time, rendered in real time, and on a single Titan RTX video card and old school Xeon E5-2697v2 that comes with 12 cores or 24 threads, which is 24 virtual cores under Windows and Linux. This is my workstation from 2020. This is not my gaming PC. The purpose of this video to show you 16K resolution rendered on the old school CPU with the newer video cards such as Titan RTX video card, Nvidia Turing GPU architecture, and the purpose of this video not to record gameplay, to record a benchmark so we can compare it with the future PC hardware such as CPU, GPUs, and I'm going to compare this game on the same video card such as Titan RTX on my gaming PC from 2020, which is the i9-9900K overclock at 5.3 gigahertz. Okay, so let me real quick go ahead and show you the settings. I'm going to show you the game without any comments. Right now I'm coming in real time, and in the end of this video I'm going to show you the CPU Z, GPU Z, MSI Afterburner, either 64 benchmark. So we're going to talk about my PC hardware that I used today during this video. Okay, my Titan RTX video card is overclocked, as you can see at the right top corner. That display information system updated every second, self-explanatory. 2000 megahertz on the VRAM and 100 megahertz on the GPU. So I'm going to use the maximum possible visuals, as you can see, on the NFS 11. This is NFS 11 or NFS Hot Pursuit. And let me apply the settings for those naysayers. So 16K resolution, and let's go ahead and get going, guys. I'm recording this video with Nvidia Shadowplay that was hacked through the runtime, through the system RAM debugging tool, and width and height values of the video container was replaced to 8K resolution. So Nvidia Shadowplay software recording on the same computer in 8K resolution. So it's consuming some video card resources such as Titan RTX video card, Turing GPU architecture, TU102 GPU. So pretty much go ahead and add 3 FPS to the FPS counter. Okay, so if you want to get my FPS, it's 3 FPS, and just because the Titan RTX is overclocked, it's adding additional 10% of the performance. So when Titan RTX running stock, 10% less of the FPS at the right top corner. So add to that right top corner at least 3 FPS to get the FPS without the recording every second. Okay, I'm going to start the first level, as again the purpose of this video is not the gameplay, the purpose of this video is the benchmark. Guys, don't forget to smash that like button because this is the world's first 16K resolution in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. So if you're a fan, just smash that like button, subscribe, share it with your friends. This is a great content over here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and load it up, and oh, look at this. We have Mazda. Let me go ahead and take the Porsche. I'm starting with this car, but you can unlock the RX-7. Keep in mind that I didn't play this game for like 5 years, something like that. But it's still a great game, especially when it's rendering in 16K resolution. So for the best possible visual experience, please watch this video in your YouTube player in 8K resolution on an 8K resolution display. Switch it to 8K resolution in your video player, YouTube video player, and to 4320p or 8K resolution. All right, and enjoy. Enjoy, guys. Alright guys, here we go. As again, I didn't play this level for who knows, like maybe 10 years, but I played this game 5 years ago last time when I was recording in 2016 the 8K resolution, I believe, on 4 Titan Max GPU architecture, but I'm not sure if it's supporting SLI. I don't remember. I think if it doesn't support the SLI, then it doesn't support the SLI. So I was recording on a single Titan X Master GPU architecture back in 2016. But anyways, this is single Titan RTX video card, and if the game supports SLI, the performance in terms of our FPS will be 1.9 times faster than you just saw it. And as you saw, the GPU utilization was almost excellent. 99% almost all the time means that we wasted almost zero shader cores or CUDA cores, and we had the perfect or excellent GPU utilization. We want to keep our GPU utilization at 97-99% and our CPU utilization below 90%. Above 90%, if I'm using 2 cores, as you can see, I'm using 2 cores right now, 2 threads. If we above 90%, that means that we are probably bottlenecking our game. We need to add at least additional 1 core or 1 thread, and it's better to be not hyper threading core or thread, but the physical core. But today I'm running 2 physical cores, 2 physical threads to eliminate all the latency delay. Right, so that's it, guys. That's pretty much it. As again, for those naysayers, this is my resolution, and as again, this is the maximum display information system at the right top, the maximum font size that you can use for 16K resolution. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to quit, and I'm going to show you what kind of system I was running. So my desktop today, of course, was set at 16K resolution as well, because I was running in the windowed mode, and even in full screen windowed mode, but I pretty much forced it through the DXWND application, that forcing games from the full screen into the windowed mode if the game doesn't support the windowed mode, and if it's running the DirectX API. And as you can see, 100%, okay, and 15,360 pixels by 8,640 pixels. This is the zoom 700%. Before I'm going to zoom it, let me real quick explain to you. So this is, guys, right here, the cursor. This is the water cooling H100i Pro XT RGB that I was running on this CPU. This is exactly the picture that I took with my iPhone and 10R and 2011 version 1 socket, 2011 1 X79 chipset, a Gigabyte X79 UHD version 1.1 motherboard, gaming motherboard with this enterprise CPU with F20 BIOS. Only F20 BIOS allows to run this CPU on this motherboard. And this is my gaming rig from 2020, which is the i9-9900K overclock at 5.3 GHz, which theoretically should give us performance of 15-20% in terms of the FPS, but we're going to find out. And let me show you. As you saw, our CPU utilization was healthy. Let me show you what kind of system I was running. So pretty much 2-core, 2 threads, constantly 3.6 GHz or 3600 MHz per each core, running 34 multiplier, forced by the BIOS and by this CPU automatically, because this values of the multiplier is locked and I cannot manipulate it like you can do it on the i7, i5, i9 gaming PCs, CPUs. So 30 megabytes level third cache that was shared between two CPUs, 15 megabytes per each CPU core, which is amazing. Pretty much the like i9-9900K using 15 megabytes per each CPU for 8 cores, 16 threads, and over here we were using just for one core 15 megabytes of level third cache share. Okay, as again, motherboard, as I told you, X79 UHD. This is version 1.1. They have version 1.0 just for those who's going to build this computer or kind of similar to that. If you're running this Gigabyte X79 UHD version 1.1 motherboard, you want to have F20 BIOS, otherwise this CPU is not going to post, not going to boot. It's going to be like that. Okay, and I updated the BIOS with my i7-4930K that was overclocked at 4.2 GHz, and probably in PC gaming will be faster than this Xeon E5-2697v2 CPU, no doubt about it, when it's running 4.2 GHz stable, and it was boostable all the way. 4.2 GHz was also overclockable, but on what I find out with F20 BIOS, it's also was going all the way to 4.4 GHz, which is amazing CPU, by the way. I sold that CPU for $100, used like new on eBay, and get myself this CPU for $129 in the beginning of 2020. So for only $29, which is amazing, double of the threads, double of the cores. And keep in mind that this CPU in the end of 2021, beginning 2022, will cost $79-$89, used like new on eBay. This is going to be a great buy, and especially if you can get yourself X79 motherboard cheap for like $50-$60, or you can utilize your own motherboard. But otherwise, if you're looking, but this is a workstation, it's going to be a great CPU for a workstation, all-in-one low-budget system. Okay, especially all-in-one when you're doing a lot of video encoding and stuff like that. Otherwise, get yourself 1600 series Xeons, okay, for X79 V2 version. it's going to be better for PC gaming. Keep that in mind. Memory, of course, 4 sticks, 8 gigabytes, total 32 gigabytes in quad channel, which is 256-bit. Theoretically, dual channel is 128-bit, so quad channel should be 2 times faster, but in practice, it's only 1.4 times. Okay, and my DDRAM frequency was 1412 megahertz, which is 706 times 2, 1412 megahertz, CL9, 1T command. This is the graphics. As you can see, Titan RTX memory was overclocked to 8000 megahertz times 2, which is 16,000 megahertz, and additional 100 megahertz on the GPU. It's using 24 gigabytes of the GDDR6 VRAM, which is the video RAM, 24 gigabytes of the VRAM, which is double that was used in RTX 2080 Ti video card. And you saw my VRAM utilization during the gameplay, so you can see if RTX 2080 Ti can handle it or not based on the VRAM utilization at that right top corner. This is how it bench, guys. So it's excellent CPU utilization for 2 cores, 2 threads. As you can see, 720 points for 2 cores and 363 points for single thread. Of course, single thread is not impressive in 2021, but you know, it's a workstation. All what I do, I'm just utilizing all the cores, all the threads, all the 24 virtual cores or 24 threads, all the way 100% per each core, throughout the 8K resolution video encoding or 8K resolution video transcoding or 3ds Max rendering when I'm doing the 3D graphics and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm utilizing all the cores. This is why I'm taking advantage of the CPU. This is the only best way to do that. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. This is the IDA64 cache and memory benchmark, as you can see right here, and you want to keep your eye at the latencies, because those are not going to be changed if I'm going to enable 12 cores, 24 threads with hyper-threading technology, but the bandwidth will change. So pretty much my bandwidth when I'm running more than 2 cores, when I'm running 4 cores and above, will be around 32,000 megabytes read and write per memory, okay, and per copy as well, 34,000 megabytes per second. When it's running 14,000 megahertz, and as again on this particular motherboard, this particular CPU cannot run this memory above 1412 megahertz stable without any blue screen, and I'm talking about the blue screen. And when I'm enabling 12 core 24 threads on this motherboard, I cannot even run 112 megahertz on my DDR3. I can only run 1130 megahertz on the DDR3, so it's a little bit getting slower, and latency delay goes like 101 nanoseconds. So we just cut it 50 nanoseconds, not bad, guys. And if I'm going to go and set the CL7, but as again CL7 on this particular CPU, on this particular motherboard with this particular BIOS, I heard that ASUS X79 motherboards was the best for the X79 chipset, and it can run this CPU above 2000 megahertz with this particular memory, because this particular memory is 1866 megahertz crucial ballistics lit. Okay, and but on this gigabyte, this is the issue. On all the motherboard except the ASUS X79 chipset, those motherboard had the best BIOS and best motherboard for X79 for the Xeon E5-2697 series V2 CPUs. Hopefully this makes sense. And this CPU is very, guys, top flagship, pretty much CPU, and with a lot of cores, it's stressing a lot of this motherboard, because they the maximum gaming cores on the CPU was 8 core 16 threads, and this is 12 core 24 threads, which is 24 virtual cores. A lot of stress on the motherboard, keep that in mind, and gaming motherboards are not ready for it. But anyways, as you can see, it's recognized as dual core, which is 2 cores, nice. And pretty much those value will be changed as again if I'm going to add additional 2 cores, and it doesn't matter 4 cores or 24 threads is going to be just the same. It's going to be like 32,000 megabytes read, write, and copy. But latency, you want to compare with the latencies, okay, and which is amazing latencies. And as again, if I'm going to do CL7, it's going to be 79 nanoseconds, which is even very nice. But my i9-9900K running on latency, guys, 40, if I'm not mistaken, 40 nanoseconds, okay, when it's overclocked to 5.3 gigahertz with the DDR4 5000 megahertz CL18, but overclock on DDR4 at 3000 megahertz but CL10 unheard of. CL10 latency delay for DDR4. Okay, this is the IDA64 GPU benchmark when it's running OpenCL API, so we can compare GPU versus CPU. But of course, CPU running only 2 cores, 12 cores, 24 threads will be higher value. But as again, GPU will be always faster than CPU by at least 5 times. But you can see, you can get an idea. As again, Titan RTX video card was overclocked during this benchmark, and I was running this benchmarks, guys, without the Nvidia Shadow Play recording. Keep this in mind. So this is how it's going to be a raw value of these benchmarks. Okay, and this is the CPU Z, and the pixel free rate 179 gigapixels, textual free rate 538 gigatexels, and bandwidth 768 gigabytes per second. Those values will be changed after I'm going to go ahead and lower the frequencies and bring the Titan RTX to a stock Nvidia settings controlled by the driver, like right now. And you can see immediately memory went from 8,000 to 7,000, and my VRAM went from 16,000 to 14,000 megahertz, and the values went pixel free rate 169 gigapixels, textual free rate 509 gigatexels, and bandwidth 672 gigabytes per second, which will last about 80 gigabytes per second. The bandwidth with the Titan RTX overclock on the VRAM to 16,000 megahertz is almost as fast as GDDR6X, and I'm running GDDR6, so it's going to be almost as fast, hair slower though, by about 40 gigabytes per second than RTX 3080 or 3090. Alright guys, hopefully this makes sense. So I explained to you everything what you need to know. As again, this was the first 16K resolution video back in January 19, 2021. Alright, and I just woke up and I decided to go and record it for you because I'm like, wow, I can run a 16K resolution. A lot of Need for Speed fans will be pretty much so happy. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, positive comments related to the topic, and stay safe. Have a great day, morning or evening, and I will see you guys in the next videos.